But it's really interesting because one of the things I focus on is perception. If you can control perception, you control behavior. You've just given a great example of it.
Yeah.
Because we behave as we do because we perceive as we do, and we perceive as we do because we believe as we do, and we believe as we do because of the information through which we form our perceptions. Again, we come back to censorship. That's what it's really about. If you can dominate the narrative so people are only hearing one angle of the story or one version of the story, then you are going to dictate the perceptions of vast numbers of people who haven't had any other angle to consider as another possibility for this, whatever's going on, or this person, especially when you're dealing with a population that in vast, vast numbers questions nothing. How do you know that? Saw it on the news. How did they know that? You know, oh, I saw a Facebook post. Well, but how did they know that? And this is what goes through people's mind. Well, they're all saying it. Yeah, they are all saying it because they ultimately are controlled by the same force. So
people are also very easily brainwashed. Right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Through this same process. So you get the perception, you get the behavior. There's two mentalities, perceptions, that have been responsible for every tyranny in history. Fascist tyranny, communist tyranny, any tyranny. Mentality number one is that you believe what authority tells you without question, and therefore behave on the basis of what you believe. Okay. Mentality number two says, I don't really buy it, but what are the consequences for me of not doing what I'm told? So they do it. So number one does it, believes it without question. Number two group does it because they fear not doing it. And then you've got the third group, which is now getting bigger. Hallelujah. And that group says, I don't buy it and I'm not frickin' having it. I'm not doing it. That's the group, this third group, that says, no, not cooperating with my own enslavement, my enslavement of my kids and grandkids, not doing it. And that's the group, if you look back, that has ended every tyranny in history. The more you can manipulate knowledge and suppress knowledge, the more people will dismiss what's actually happening because they can't perceive that it's possible to happen because that knowledge has been kept from them. And when people like me start uncovering through sweat and spit what they know and passing it on to the population, a lot of the population go, you're mad, mate, and that's the idea. I don't think this reality is experimental. I think it's a trap. I think it's a concerted, calculated trap to control humanity by controlling humanity's sense of perception and self-identity. So if you can get people to believe that they are just a human and they've somehow come from some primordial soup and manifested as Ethel on the checkout and Bill down the call center, and when they leave this world, they just cease to exist. Well, that's a really, shall we say, limited sense of identity and sense of what's the point? Two identities and perceptions control vast, vast tracts of the human population. And there is another explanation, the one that will get us out of this technologically simulated trap, and that's the realization that we are infinite in nature, that we are not our body, we're not even our, quote, soul, we are pure awareness, a state of being aware. And when we reach that sense of identity, that perception of reality, everything changes. You start to expand your awareness deeper and deeper and deeper into the infinite field. And you start to see things you couldn't see before. You start to become aware of things. You start to connect dots that appeared to be random dots before. And that's called awakening. And my goodness me, we need an awakening, and we need it fast. Yes, it's happening, but the biggest awakening is yet to come. And if it does, this control system will fall like a house of cards, because we're holding it up with our perception of reality and our sense of little me. With a realization of the true nature of who we are, everything changes, and the house of cards comes tumbling down, and with it, the system of human control, which is based on perceptual control, which if we take our perception of reality and perception of self back, the control must go. And that's the real awakening. That's the real answer to this madhouse. You look at the world as a series of random events, random happenings. It makes no sense. Why do they do that? Why do they do it this way? Why don't they do it that way? It'd be much better if they did it that way, and so on and so forth. Why does this happen? But when you connect the dots, you connect these events, you find that actually they do all connect. And, you know, people say sometimes about me, you see a conspiracy everywhere. No, I don't. I see one conspiracy to turn the world into a global dystopia. And that one conspiracy has endless facets and forms. But it's actually one conspiracy. It's one gigantic web. And that's literally true in terms of what I call the global cult, right, which is a global network of secret societies which are operating outside or in the shadows from those that appear to be running the world. I have a phrase, know the outcome and you'll see the journey.
Right.
And what I mean by that is if you know where we're being taken, the steps to take us there then become obvious day by day, week by week. And the outcome that is planned is that we live in a centrally dictated global dystopia, where in the end there are even no elected politicians, what they call a technocracy, of appointed people, appointed bureaucrats, European Union, appointed bureaucrats and technocrats and engineers and health experts and all this stuff, who actually are making the decisions from a central global point. Look at the World Health Organization. That's the stepping stone towards this global dystopia. So that's where they're taking us. The idea is also because if you look at the whole foundation of this global conspiracy of human control, it's based on perceptual control. So if you want to control behavior, you have to control perception. And if you control behavior, well, collectively, that's what we call human society.
Right.
And then you ask the question, where do perceptions come from? Well, they come from information received, whether it's a news bulletin, a posting on Facebook, personal experience.
Exactly.
We form our perceptions from information we receive, and from those perceptions come our behavior, and collectively that behavior is human society. And this is where censorship comes in. Because censorship is about seeking to control the information that people receive, thus controlling their perception. If you sell the illusion of human-caused climate change, then you can offer the solution of transforming human society to save us from human-caused climate change. This is how it works. The outcome is the population globally under a situation of dependency. Now, whatever you are dependent upon controls you. And so they want you dependent upon this global cult in all its forms, called governments, whatever. And this is where it's going. It's about creating global dependency, thus global control. Which is why no matter who's in power, the same, left or right, the same agenda unfolds for humanity. One of the things I've been saying over the decades, this global cult has no borders. They are for population consumption only. That's to make you think that there are different countries with different agendas. There's not. There's a global cult that works through all of them.
We don't see them in this kind of, oh my God, they're so powerful terms, and we realize their true nature. You look at, have you seen George Soros recently? He's pathetic. He can hardly get the bloody words out. Oh, Soros is funding this, Soros is funding that. No, Soros, his name is fronting up all that funding. Someone else is doing it, not him. Just a gopher. And how this has happened, what they've done, is they have created a situation in which they, who are not very bright, by expanded awareness terms, they're idiots. The way they have manipulated humanity and manipulated themselves into a state of the power, if you like, is by hoarding knowledge about reality, about how the whole thing works, about the fact what they're doing and who's doing it, who they are. And that's passed on through the generations, through the inner core of the secret society network, the global cult. At the same time, they've set up an information situation for the general population via the education system that they created and control, via the media they created and control, and via Silicon Valley, which they created and control, to keep the public in ignorance of what they know. And so it's very, very appropriate that their major symbol is the all-seeing single eye. For this reason, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. What they've done is manipulated us to give us their power because they don't have any. And when that penny drops, then it is over. And that's what we're working towards.
Every day, in every way. And one thing, just to make it so easy to understand for everyone, is you say this, the lower level entities attach themselves to humans by manipulating us into those lower vibrational states like fear and worry and panic, which they're constantly projecting. And it's very easy to understand that when you are in that state, you have a very limited access to any creative solutions in your life because you are in fight or flight. That's what they want, because that's where they operate. So as soon as you extend outward and above this state, you get into more creative layers where they have no access to. And you can totally confirm that in your own life. When you do that, when you move out of that state of fear, you become creative again. You access greater states of awareness.
You know, if you look at the energetic level, if they can't, this world of the so-called physical, it's just a projection, a holographic projection of information fields, just like holograms are projections of information on the holographic print. And therefore, if they can't connect with you on an energetic level, they cannot connect with you in the world of the seen, because the world of the seen is just a projection of the information field. If they can't get you here, they can't get you there, because one and the other are different expressions of the same thing. So what they're trying to do, as you point out, is to pull us into a frequency state in which they can attach to us. And then when they attach to us, they can possess our thoughts and our emotions. It's what possession is, absolutely real. And they can manipulate us, and they can connect with us on that energetic level. Why they're terrified of people awakening, particularly opening the heart and awakening, is because we're lost to them then. Because we're not on the same frequency as them, and if they can't get us here, they can't get us there. What they can do is make life difficult for us as best they can by through that which they can attach to, your legal profession and your system people. They can try to make life difficult for you that way through people they control, but they can't control you. Because they can't attach to you. That's the point. And if they can't attach to you, they can't take you out. Because they can't enter your realm. They can't enter your frequency realm. And if they can't do it on a frequency level, they can't do it on the projection of that frequency level, which is the holographic world.